College football is supposed to be about tradition, loyalty, pageantry, Saturdays in the fall. But behind the marching bands and million-dollar stadiums, there's another story. A story of secret payments, destroyed legacies, vacated championships.
The fired Michigan football head coach arrested after he was let go, expected to go before a judge.
And in one case, crimes so horrific they shocked the entire country. Tonight, we're breaking down the biggest scandals in college football history. And trust me, the #1 scandal changed the sport forever. In the early 1980s, SMU wasn't just good, they were elite. Dallas money was flowing through the program. Boosters were secretly paying players, cars, cash, apartments, and the NCAA had already warned them. But SMU didn't stop.
College football tonight has a new scandal. Once again, it involves Southern Methodist University.
Shady recruiting practices.
Recruiting violations.
Illegal
One
payments.
SMU player said he was given money to play.
So in 1987, the NCAA did something it had never done before. They canceled the entire season. The death penalty. No games, no TV revenue, no recruiting.
The sanctions levied against SMU go beyond the one-year death penalty.
I find not only inside the community, with our faculty, our students, etc., and I find outside the immediate university community, outrage that this has happened and that it has continued since 2 years ago.
The program collapsed overnight, and nearly 40 years later, no major college football program has ever been punished this severely again. In the mid-2000s, USC ruled college football.
Oh my, intercepted Kevin Arbett. He's got a convoy in the running room. To the 20, to the 10, gets down to the 1-yard line.
Hollywood swagger, national championships, future NFL stars everywhere. And at the center of it all, Reggie Bush. He was electric, but behind the scenes, improper benefits were being provided by sports agents. Housing, cash, expensive gifts. The NCAA eventually ruled Bush ineligible.
Whether it's all true or all wrong, or or whether we're guilty or we're not guilty, it's still my responsibility, and I have to accept that, and I have to deal with it as it is and try to manage it as best as I can.
The fallout was massive. USC lost scholarships, wins were vacated, and the 2004 national championship was erased from the record books. Bush was even forced to return his Heisman Trophy. An iconic season in college football history, completely wiped away. If Hollywood wrote this story, people would say it's unrealistic. A Miami booster named Nevin Shapiro, living the high life, private jets, luxury hotels, nightclubs. But behind the scenes, he was running a massive Ponzi scheme.
He was the former Miami booster and Ponzi scheme organizer, and the story reads like a movie script.
While stealing money from investors, he was allegedly showering Miami players with cash, gifts, and parties. For nearly a decade, when Shapiro went to prison, he took the Hurricanes program down with him. The NCAA launched one of the largest investigations in college football history. Sanctions followed, and Miami's dynasty era was officially over. In 2010, Cam Newton took over college football.
From the 49-yard line, Newton's going to go deep down the field. Carr, the intended receiver. He makes the catch at the 5.
He was unstoppable. Touchdowns.
Great catch. Newton back in, drives it ahead off the fake. He's in.
Dominant performances.
And now under center is Newton. Fakes the handoff, keeps it wide open. Fannin at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5.
Auburn kept winning. But in the middle of the season, allegations surfaced that his father had sought money from schools during recruitment.
You know, they were working extra hard. When my father was slandered in the media, it was devastating for me.
The NCAA launched an investigation. For weeks, the entire championship race hung in the balance. Then the NCAA made its ruling. Cam Newton could keep playing.
And without him right now, you know, we all would not even be here right now. So thank you for that.
Auburn went on to win the national championship, but the controversy has never completely gone away. The scandal that rocked Ohio State started with tattoos. Several players had traded memorabilia for tattoos and cash. Under NCAA rules at the time, that was illegal. But the real problem? Head coach Jim Tressel knew about it and failed to report it. When the story broke, the fallout was immediate. Tressel resigned. Ohio State vacated wins, and the program was hit with a postseason ban. Ironically, today those same players could legally earn millions through NIL deals. For nearly 2 decades, athletes at North Carolina had access to what critics called paper classes. Courses with little attendance, minimal work, easy grades. Hundreds of athletes took these classes. When the scandal came to light, the NCAA launched an investigation. But in a shocking twist, the program avoided major penalties because technically, the classes were available to all students. The loophole saved the program, but the damage to credibility was permanent. In 2011, college football stopped. Jerry Sandusky, former Penn State assistant coach, was charged with horrific crimes involving minors, but the scandal quickly grew far larger than one man.
Okay, these allegations are false. I didn't do those things. I don't know.
Questions emerged about who knew and whether the abuse had been reported properly. The fallout was enormous. Sandusky went to prison. Penn State faced massive sanctions. And legendary coach Joe Paterno was fired.
In addition, Joe Paterno is no longer the head football coach, effective immediately.
Protests erupted across campus. The story dominated national headlines. This wasn't just a sports scandal, it was a national tragedy. And it permanently changed how universities handle reporting and accountability. College football sells tradition. But history shows, when power goes unchecked, scandals eventually surface. And with billions of dollars now flowing through the sport, the next scandal might already be happening. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to The College Football Brief. Because next time, we're diving into the biggest recruiting scandals in college football history.